Hey everybody, this is Vril. Welcome back to Extended Timeline World War II. In the last episode, we had a war between Greece and Yugoslavia, and Greece won that war and broke up Yugoslavia into Serbia, Montenegro, Bosnia, Croatia, and Slovenia. And actually, Hungary warred with Serbia, just taking a couple of their northern provinces. So that's where we stood there. We had a couple more French colonies break away, including Algeria and Tunisia and Morocco. And over in French Indochina, we have Vietnam and Laos gaining their independence. Now, looking at the world's militaries, the United States is back on top, China coming in second, but followed by the Soviet Union, Germany, and Japan. There are no longer as many rebels as there previously was, and they're about 200,000 strong across the globe. So let's look at the wars that are going on right now. We just had a new war between Egypt and Greece. And who's backing up? We have Bosnia-Herzegovina that is backing up the Greeks, and we have a American-Japanese imperialist war. It's mostly been a bunch of navy battles, although the Americans do occupy Taiwan. So let's just go ahead and start progressing time. I think some of our units are hidden when we start these games and need to get the time moving to be able to see them. Let's have a look at this Egyptian war, though. Egypt had basically captured Crete, and it looks like their navy was moving across the Mediterranean to move units into Greece. So the Greek military does have a 2-star general, and actually the Bosnia also has a 2-star general, so that should help them. Looks like Egypt does have a larger military, although, as I've said previously, it looks like they have a 2-star general, though. I've said previously that I'd rather have a smaller army with a better general than I would want a larger army with, like a 1-star general. So it does look like this is going to be a tough battle here. Not sure who's going to win this one, but it's going to be a tie, basically. Looks like the Egyptians did win that right at the end. They're going to need to move over more of their forces, though, if they really want to win this war. It looks like, Lebanon just gained its independence from France, I think it is. French still hold Syria there. So it looks like the Egyptians have moved over a few more units there. Let's see if there's anything else going on. We now have another... Okay, we've got a war over in Thailand here. Kedah Jihad against Thailand. Let me see where this is actually going on here. So Kedah is here, and they are warring against Thailand, so I have to keep an eye on how that goes. I would expect some more of French Indochina to go over to Japan. And it did look like we actually have... I think they just lost. It looked like for a moment there we had a American actual land unit that was landed in Japan here, and they had lost. Let me just sort these by war score here. Yeah, I'm thinking that the Japanese actually won that, so it does look like the Americans have the upper hand navy-wise, but landing enough troops to be able to fight off the Japanese in their homeland is going to be difficult. Again, I just need... Okay, we now have a Hungarian-Croatian imperialist war. The Slovenia is helping the Hungary here. So it looks like Hungary has their sights on restoring their empire, possibly. They're doing pretty well here, although Slovenia is occupied by Croatia at the moment. I think the Croatian army is completely gone, though, unless I'm missing something. Certainly could be. You guys can always let me know in the comments when I miss something, because I'm sure you will. Okay, yeah, so that war is going very well for the Hungarians. And this war is going well for the Egyptians, although it looks like they're about to lose a battle. Why are we not moving the Egyptian army into this province to help out? I will I have no idea. I mean, your units at this point are very valuable, so I would think you'd want to hold on to them. If they can beat the Greeks, that will basically crush their army, and that war will be, for the most part, sorted out from there. Bump up the speed a little bit, so the Japanese are now pretty much winning that war against the Americans. It is a defensive war for them. Now we do have an El Salvador and Panama nationalist war. That's not too much going on, although I think that the Panama is very large, so we'll be interested to see how this goes down. Looks like the Panamanians have the larger army here, but it does look like the El Salvador is trying to capture quite a few provinces very quickly, as you do in the extended timeline. It's very nice where you can no longer really have to siege in the modern era. You just capture the territory, and that's that. Do like that mechanic. It does look like the Dominicans won over here. Is that war still going on? No, it just ended. So I think Haiti is completely gone. And I think Cuba was helping out the Haitians there. So looks like Panama is going to start. I'm going to slow this down a little bit because we've got a few wars that we need to be keeping track of. It looks like that Egyptian war just ended, though. Maybe they just took... The Egyptians only took Crete, so now they have an anchor in the Mediterranean. Cyprus is still held by Great Britain, so they're not independent or anything like that. So I'm wondering if anybody else is going to want to take on the Greeks here, because they're a little bit... Like, we could have Turkey or Bulgaria possibly want to take some territory for the Greeks, because they've been in a couple wars, and they're a little bit, weak right now, so that could be something that happens. We've got a Soviet change of form of government in Afghanistan, so that's a little about, 25 years too early for the Soviets going into Afghanistan, but we'll see how that goes. I think we can be pretty sure who's going to win that war, at least with the mechanics of EU4. I don't think the Afghanis are going to have any chance whatsoever. Got this Thai fighting the Kedah Jihad here. Probably going to go towards the side of the Thailand. I can't imagine that army is going to do too much. It looks like Saudi Arabia has some Arabian reactionary rebels rising up. Anything else going on here? Not seeing anything. Let's head on over to the Americas just to see. Don't really ever see any revolts in Canada or the USA. Mexico has certainly gained some territory here, though. And I'm a little surprised how well El Salvador is doing, even though they've got this smaller army and they're completely avoiding all actual combat, so they could really use some help, though. They're not going to be able, unless they can somehow magically get another general that's a 2-star, then that's the only shot they have for actually beating that army there. Let's head back over to Japan and see if there's anything going on. There must have been some sort of ground war here, though, because that, unless that was a new unit, because that was very low on morale there. Okay, actually, this war between Japan and the Americans has ended, and Japan holds Taiwan and has taken a little bit of Indonesia. So that's good for the Japanese. I think the Japanese just need to calm down a little bit, it wasn't their fault they got declared war on, but need to rebuild their army a little bit. Manchukuo War for Independence. So here's another war against the Japanese. So the Japanese created their little puppet here in Manchukuo, and now that puppet is being a little... they want their independence, so... The Soviets are a little busy, though, right now, between that change of government in Afghanistan, although I can't imagine there's any problems there. The only problem they might have is with their units taking attrition when they get into Afghanistan. Some Iranian noble rebels. Okay, we've got the Saudi Arabian army is probably going to be able to crush the reactionary rebels there pretty easily. I'd like to see this Egypt. They seem pretty strong. I'd like to see them do well. Does look like Hungary took over a large chunk, including the capital of Croatia. So Croatia is just coastal provinces at this point. Sweden did take over a bunch of Norway, hasn't done much since. Yeah, so the Soviets are starting to occupy Afghanistan. I'll probably keep an eye on this Manchukuo, Japanese, and Soviet war going on here. Let me pause this quickly because we do have a couple more. We've now got a Brazilian and Bolivian. They don't stand a chance. I think Bolivia is a one-province country at this point. Kedah Jihad, Manchukuo War for Independence, and the Salvadoran. Let's check on how that's going on. See if they've actually... I think I went the wrong direction, but... Let's see if these units... No, they still have not fought yet. Alright. So keep an eye on this, what's going on. I'll bump up the speed back up to 3. See what's going on in Manchukuo between the Japanese. Manchukuo trying to gain their independence. Dutch Indochina not having too many issues. What do we have here? We have 1 Dutch revolutionaries here. But for the most part, between the Dutch... I mean, the British held on to their independence wars, I think, in Africa. They held on to that territory. The Italians are holding on to their colonies as well. They're doing a good job with that. It's just the French, I think, and the Portuguese that really lost out on their colonies. And obviously the Japanese, I guess you would say that Manchukuo, it's not really a colony, but it's a... Well, it could be in their way of thinking. Maybe it is a colony. Okay, the Vietnam has not gained any additional size, though. The French were able to fight off all the other separatists that they had in there. These Thailand's got some reactionaries in addition to these Kedah separatists, although it looks like that war that's still going on, but the Thailand is sieging their capital there, so that should be over soon. It looks like that Salvadoran Panama War is still going on. We've got the Japanese one here. We've got the Soviet Unions are working in. It looks like the Soviets have occupied some of Japanese Korea, while the Japanese have occupied some of Manchukuo. Now we'll just have to see if the Japanese decide... Yeah, it looks like they have a large chunk of their army here. And I do think Manchukuo at one point had a 3-star general, but I haven't seen him around recently. Probably died off. I think we had, I'm not sure what war it was, but it was a very minor war, and it ended at some point. It does look like, unfortunately for El Salvador, that the Panamanians are now taking the advantage. They must have... No, they still have not fought with their armies. I mean, El Salvador occupies quite a bit here. But I think they're just not doing it quick enough here, and they need to fight with their armies, and they're certainly going to lose. Okay, Soviets are occupying even more of Japanese Korea. Japanese need to move. If they're going to fight this off, they've got a 32 stack and they've got a 43 stack. They could use a little bit more. I guess the Soviets aren't all that big, so they should be able to take them out. None of these, or not too many of these, have a leader on them. We've got some 2s Manchukuo just does not have a very large army. It looks like, though, that the Soviets are moving some larger stacks this direction. What China's really thinking to do right now? I haven't seen much going on there. Let's just have a quick look, and I'm gonna knock the speed back down to 2 and just see like what these governments are. So we've got a socialist state in China. We've got Empire of Japan. We've got Empire of Manchukuo, apparently. So these all be the same. Soviet Union, obviously a socialist state. We've got Shahdom in Iran. We've got the Sultanate in Saudi Arabia. Turkey is a republic. The Egyptians are a kingdom. The Italians are now an empire. It's a regency council. Okay, so I don't think that they are fascist Italy anymore. The Germans are still a fascist dictatorship. French are a republic. Spain is a fascist dictatorship still with Franco. They've got him. We didn't look at this before, but he's only got a 0 admin skill, so that's not very good. Portugal's the republic. Finland is a grand republic, apparently. Okay, we've got, because the Italians are allied with the Japanese, they are taking some of Western Russia. Okay. And we've also got the Brazilian-Venezuela Nationalist War. Peru's on the side of Venezuela. Is Peru? Okay, we've also got a British-Australian War of Independence. Okay. So we've got the British Australians are trying to gain their independence, as well as a bunch of other British colonies, so that's not going to go very well for them, I don't think. Manchukuo War for Independence is not going on the side of the Manchukuo. Let me just have a look down here in South America as well. It was the Venezuelan... So Brazil looks like they're losing to Venezuela here. Venezuela has the help of the Peruvians here. So this could be a pretty decisive war. I mean, Brazil is has the hand up in South America at this point, but we'll see what happens. Is Argentina also on the side of... No, wait, we've got Brazil, we've got Venezuela, we've got Peru. Where is this war? Am I missing it here? El Salvador. Ah, okay. That's because the Brazilians... Oh, who are they on the side of here? Okay, Brazil is on the side of the the Australians on the British War for Independence, and the Argentinians are on the British side, which is interesting to say the least. With those Falkland Islands. Argentina has the Falkland Islands. Okay. At some point they captured that. I don't think they started with it at the beginning. I'm pretty sure that was a British island. I might be mistaken. British West Indies. So these armies still have not fought each other. So yeah, Venezuela is starting to occupy parts of Brazil. Alright, anything else going on before the end of this episode? The largest war score is in that Manchukuo War. Looks like the Japanese are winning this war. They've occupied quite a bit of Manchukuo. They just need to kind of capture back what the Soviets have captured of Japanese Korea. Alright, it does look like we're out of time for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this one, and please consider hitting the like button if you did, as it really helps out the channel. So I'll see you guys next time.